Sabyasachi.
Hi.
I'm Pooja,
Hi,
and
Pooja.
welcome to the show. We would love to understand now Perfios. We've been hearing also in the sessions, and we've seen the stall. If you could help us understand within the startup sector, what is it that your product is actually offering or filling in, sort of, and how are you different from the competitors?
So let me start by asking a question. What are the financial products do you use? Have you taken a loan? Have you used a credit card? Do you make any kind of wallet payments? Any of these?
All of the above, then some investments, investment apps,
Okay.
and a bundle of others.
So pretty much you would have used Perfios in all of these.
Okay.
So what we do is we power the backend for the financial institutions where we do the data analytics to know you better. Of course, the only thing is with your consent,
Yeah, of course.
and it makes sense for a particular use case that you may need. So let's say you go and apply for a loan, the assessment that goes on, and while you are onboarded to a financial institution for that product that you are applying, we do all of that on behalf of the bank.
Right.
And we are a product technology company who does the entire spectrum, end-to-end customer lifecycle management. So let's take an example. When you apply for a product, what did you do first? Somebody would have reached out to you, or you would have gone to their website and applied, or you would have downloaded an app and done all of that.
Yeah.
The engine that is running behind is powered by Perfios, wherein
So the tech is, of course, that belongs to that company, but the engine where you have to take data from the person, analyze if it's fraudulent or not, probably.
the fraudulent is
One very small component. Okay. And then
It's small, but it's very important as
Yeah, of
more and more
course.
digital transformation is
of
happening.
course. And then during the transactions also, is Perfios.
Yeah, so in each step, so that's what I was trying to explain, we do the end-to-end customer lifecycle management. Starting if you wouldn't have applied, also to find who is the right prospect for a financial institution, which we call in the banking parlance sourcing. So we do the sourcing bit. Now imagine all of this from a technology lens.
Right.
So we don't have a physical manpower who go and
Of course.
do the channel partner work, but through technology, how can we identify that you are a right person for an X or a Y or a Z product? Then, after we source, how do we onboard you for that product? So when you say onboard, you fill an application form, you fill in certain details, you share some documents, that's onboarding.
Super.
We
This
do
is
that.
interesting.
Then we do diligence. That means, are you the right customer for that financial institution from the KYC perspective, from all of the checks, that you are not a profile that a particular financial institutions wouldn't want to get on board.
Right.
Then comes the decisioning, that whether the financial company wants to extend the product to you. That's the serious decisioning bit, right? Because you may want an X, the institution may want to give an X plus Y or X minus Y. Does that meet the expectation? So that's the decisioning bit, which is a very strong, deep analytics domain, which we do. And then there is a lot of support function work, right? You sign a contract, whether in a digital form or in a physical form, and then you take that product home. And then comes, you have to repay as well.
Yeah.
That also has a mechanism, right? And then comes the after support.
Right.
These are all buckets
Right. And
of the entire
Perfios is
journey.
present, taking care
in
of
all
entire
of the
side.
buckets, and we have micro products under each of these buckets.
Very interesting. So tell me something. Are we saying that from a tech standpoint, we have completely outsourced, like a company like a IND Money or a Wint Wealth or any of these, let's say any loan ones also?
These are only one sector. So when we look at financial services or financial industry, BFSI, there are four pillars of BFSI: the banking, the capital markets, the insurance, and the NBFCs and fintech. We serve across four verticals. Now, the banking operates in a little different way than an insurance or a capital market. The names that you took belong to the capital market, so it doesn't operate in the same fashion as the bank would.
The formats will be
different, the framework will be different, and each of these pillars are at a different stage of evolution from a digital transformation perspective,
yeah.
right? So if it's, and the name that you took belong to the capital market side, which is typically investments.
And
there
purely digital.
Are they purely digital? Are
Yeah.
they only digital native? Or are they hybrid?
Yeah.
Depending on that, we are plugged in at different stages.
Understood. So if someone is partially digital, I can understand the nuances of the offline and the manual and field workforce bit. But let's assume any example, not necessarily the ones that I'm talking about, a purely digital one. Are we trying to say that the entire tech, because it just sounds like the entire tech is with you?
More from a banking perspective, yes.
Oh, interesting.
Capital markets are stepping on that journey. Insurance are also stepping on that journey. So bit of processes are yes. From a banking and an NBFC and a fintech perspective, pretty much.
So in that company's tech team versus your tech team that's working for it,
so
what's the percentage of work split?
No. So there is a nuance to this, right? There are certain core functions of a financial institutions which will always remain in-house.
Like?
And it's not outsourcing, right? Like dealing with the core data of an existing bank.
Oh, that doesn't go to you?
No, that will never. Core data never comes to us. But what happens is all the data that you are looking for a new product or an existing product to an upgrade or an upsell, that comes to us for the complete alignment in terms of what they would want to offer.
Understood.
Right?
Understood.
It does not mean that there is a compete with one to other in-house to outsource. It's not outsource either.
No.
It's basically
you're working together.
We are working together. It's co-creation.
Co-creation.
What we have done with all the banks is a co-creation.
Interesting. And what's your presence from a competition standpoint in India?
So, we are a market leader by far. We have 93% market share in India. And when I say 90% market share in terms of anybody who is digitally providing any products, 93% of the institutions use Perfios. From a competition standpoint, as I said, we cover the entire spectrum end to end. When we look at competition, we see they are present in one or two buckets, or within one bucket, certain sub-products, not even complete bucket. When I have to compare the entire spectrum, we don't find.
You're leading it. And globally, what will
we don't
your
find
presence?
any who has the presence across countries.
Oh wow, amazing! So I'm privileged to actually have you on the show. First of all,
Thank you.
And globally, what is the presence like? The competition presence?
Again, the same thing applies.
Same applies. Okay.
Buckets, not entire spectrum.
Understood. And what's your team size right now?
It's about 1,700 people.
1,700. 1,700 in India?
Yep.
Oh, okay. And
across.
Across. Okay. Globally,
But
here.
large part is housed in India.
Acha, interesting. So your back-end operations you might be doing from here.
Yeah,
right?
we don't call it back-end operations because we are a tech-first organization. So technology is core, innovation is core, transformation is core, and our people working for the tech are the core.
Right.
So that's not back-end for us. That's everything for us.
And for how long have you been in business?
So we are there for the last 15 years.
15 years. What made you start on a journey like this?
So there's long story to that, but I would say that we always believed that we need to make financial services, financial product made accessible to the last mile. And today the buzzword is financial inclusion, but we were thinking this 14 years back, a decade back, right? And when we say financial inclusion, it means truly give the power to the person who are there in small villages in India. And why India? We realized as we traveled across the globe that everywhere the problem is similar. That they don't have access to formal financial ecosystem. By that what I mean is, it's opening a bank account is not just an access to complete financial ecosystem. As I said, even in India, there are 4 pillars of financial ecosystem. Banks, capital market, insurance, and shadow banks. If you travel to length and breadth of India and go to these small villages, you ask, at best, investment for them is opening gold or an LIC, because somebody in the relative or friend or neighborhood would be an agent. But that's not what is investments.
But if Perfios is dealing with these businesses and NBFCs and banks, etc., how are you reaching the last mile?
Exactly. So we empowered the big boys
to be able to do
able to do that in a much more efficient and an effective manner through the use of technology digitally, which we empower.
Understood. Interesting. And what made you say, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to get in?
I mean, most of us come from a very humble, lower middle class background who have faced all of this in our life.
Okay.
And we felt our next generation shouldn't face this.
Great. No,
they don't have to walk to a money lender to ask for a credit when they need the money. You have to hospitalize. You don't know what paperwork, what is to be done, and everybody is there out to, I would not say that it may not be a misnomer, but to cheat people.
Yeah.
But how do you make it an ecosystem where people are aware?
Amazing. No, that's great to know. Sabyasachi, we would love to understand, it's a 15-year journey,
Yep.
right? And today you are at a way different level than what you would have probably even thought of when you started. So which year or which time was that ticking point for you when the graph took off?
So we still feel it's a journey.
And it's a beginning.
It's still a beginning. You have miles to cover. But I said the first 5 years was really where we were evangelizing, we were talking about what does the financial ecosystem, the evolution of the financial ecosystem mean, and how the disruption will happen in the financial ecosystem. And people used to say, you're technocrats, you don't understand banking domain, how will this happen? But I think lots have changed. So early days we were treated as a vendor. After 5 years, we started to hear that you are a partner to us. And after 5 years of that, we started to hear you are a consultant to us. We look at each other's eyes and say, okay, this is what we should do for next 2-3 years and co-create.
Amazing.
So that's the transformation journey from a vendor to a partner to a consultant.
Amazing. I think really well put. In the first 5 years, or let's say first 2 or 3 years, which are actually the hardest because there's more failures than successes and so on. So what were the top 1 or 2 challenges at that time, and today what are the top 1 or 2 challenges as an entrepreneur?
So the first 2-3 years typically is where your belief has to be the strongest, and the challenge is that sometimes the people who are experts in their own area, they start judging you. That is your idea really disruptive.
Right.
But we always had that thought as a company and a belief, and people start criticizing you, you give up the idea. We stayed put. So the hardest challenge that time is how to be positive. The first 2 years taught us that be positive, be sure of your belief and idea, and it's a matter of time. Of course, I would also want to say that at that time, this fintech buzzword was not there in India. But we were fresh out of subprime crisis 2008, 2009. Okay, we were also there at the right time, I would say, because fresh out of subprime, the entire world was shaken. The entire financial services was impacted. What did it do to us, to the entire financial service? They were looking for a platform or services which will bring down their NPAs, or so to say, build good quality portfolio. The next set was that while you are doing this, bring down the credit cost. And the third was, while doing the above two, how do you give a superior, better customer experience? Now, if you see, all three are contradictory to each other.
You can give one, not all.
Right. If you're building a quality book, how do you keep your cost low?
Yeah.
If you're keeping your cost low, how do you give a better customer experience? And that's what the power of digital was. And we had that vision that only digital can solve this in a very effective manner. And we stayed put. All the people at those days said, no, this will not work, this will not happen. We said, this is the only way which will help you address all three.
There is a sharp focus on.
And I think the first 3-4 years, as I said, a lot of evangelization. From 5th year, we started seeing the progressive financial institutions of our country adopting, experimenting, thereafter no looking back.
So 93% of the global or Indian market? No?
Indian, not global.
Okay, Indian market. What is it, and from a global company standpoint, what is it that you foresee now in the next 5 or 10 years? Like, where do you want to get? After 93, there's 100 is like almost there.
No, so that's not it. The first thing is, as you get to a scale, you can't have that growth rate, you can't have that market share,
Correct.
right? Because it's an open market, people will come in. As your product matures, as the market matures, there will be many people who want to join the bandwagon. And that is only a point which proves that our ideas were actually good, right? So we are very happy that there are more people joining.
No, of course, it's healthy.
It's very healthy.
They're building the space for us.
What makes it more exciting for us is we are a category creator.
Yeah.
This category was not existent when we started off. We want to and continue to disrupt, innovate and transform, and we'll do that. So I think we are looking for the next set of products. We're looking for the next market expansion.
Yeah.
Right? And we have created many more products over years that will slowly disrupt.
So evolution through innovation is where the direction
Absolutely.
will now take.
And more on a product side, because we are a strong product tech company. We believe in that.
Interesting. So I understood the challenges in the first couple of years. Right now, what would be as an entrepreneur, what do you see the challenge to be? Or is it completely hunky-dory and
it's never going to be hunky-dory. It is never a hunky-dory. There are different sets of challenges at different times. You're dealing with large set of people.
Yeah.
So how do you keep the people excited? How do you see that there are newer innovation continuously, right? Because innovation is the key.
Yeah.
That is the purpose of starting this company.
Right.
So we want the innovation at the forefront. So I think, what is the next set of innovation? That keeps us. That is something
that's okay. Understood.
It's not a sleepless night. We always a hard day's work. With a good night's sleep.
Good. And at what stage? Till what stage were you bootstrapped, and when did you actually infuse funds, or did you never?
No, so we infused funds. We have raised Series D very recently. So the first formal Series fundraise was after 9 years of starting the company.
Wow. Okay.
So we were never in a rush.
That's
and
good.
I strongly believe no one should be in a rush.
That's a sustainable way of
You don't build a large enterprise overnight.
Right. No, absolutely.
You have to stay invested.
Right. And for the young entrepreneurs who might be listening right now, what would you tell them from an angle of starting something, bootstrapping, having the patience, learning to take so many no's, not just as a customer, but taking no's from, people will, like you said, give opinion on your ideas also, right? That you're doing the wrong thing. So from that angle, and then taking it to a level where you're now at Series D and you're able to sleep well. So to young entrepreneurs, what would you like to tell them?
So I spoke something yesterday, but I'll touch upon that later. But first thing is, what I feel, any entrepreneur, forget entrepreneur, because we all are entrepreneurs. We're doing something for ourselves or our families continuously. So we are in our own ways, we are entrepreneurs. What do we do first? We have to have belief in our own self, in whatever we are doing, whatever we are stepping into. Right? If we have an idea, have a strong belief system on your idea. And that's the first thing. If you don't have your own belief, nobody will believe on you. That's the first part. The second thing is, believe the overall ecosystem that they are not working against you, meaning have trust and empathy. Nowadays, it's becoming very trivial that people don't trust each other. Oh, everybody around the world is there to cheat me. It's not the case. Right? Have that trust and have that empathy towards people. So that was the first C that I explained yesterday, that commitment to people and the culture. When you are building something, what will matter is how you deal with people as people and don't treat them as resources.
It's not human resource anymore.
It's people, right? They have equal amount of emotions as you have. They also go through bad patches as you do. Right? So if you treat them truly as people, as one of you, I think they'll do everything for you. Right? That is what should be the culture. Right? So first is that. The second is, when you are thinking of creating something, it shouldn't be anything incremental. It should be truly transformational, disruptive, solving a genuine acute pain. There is a difference between when you have a pain in your chest versus a pain in your knee. Pain in your knee, you can put a bobber in gel and sustain it overnight. Chest pain, you will wait for half an hour, but you will rush to a hospital.
Yeah.
Acute pain, severe pain versus nominal.
Yeah.
You're solving this or you're solving this, right?
No, very well put. Yeah.
Think about that. So I think that disruptive, innovative, true pain point, addressing the true pain point.
Great.
And you need to commit yourself and the entire organization towards that innovation, towards that idea which will solve the genuine pain. The third, be frugal, be nimble, have a financial prudence. Day one, you don't have to set up your office in a big building, AC office, big cars, splurge.
Yeah.
Be very nimble as much as possible. Even after you raise funds, you should stay nimble.
Right. Absolutely. No, I think this is extremely valuable.
So that's what I feel. These are important.
Valuable. And just to look at some numbers, when you had started first, second, third, whichever year, what were the revenues like, and today what it is like? And so you mentioned you were at Series D. So if the funding race is on, are we profitable already, or
we are.
Is there?
We were always profitable barring the COVID years.
Okay.
We're back to profitability, double-digit profitability, 18%. We should cross that even while we end this year. We'll exit the year with 100 million ARR. Started it was very small.
Okay.
I don't even know 0.00 something.
Great. No, absolutely. Thank you so much, Sabyasachi. It's been a wonderful discussion and something that all entrepreneurs really need to hear from people who've done it and who've been there, who've seen the struggle. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure talking to you, Paul. Thank you.